Soldiers, sailors, airmen and women enlist in the armed forces for many reasons, including a sense of duty, patriotism, the adventure, travel, and adrenaline. When service members are injured or wounded and can no longer perform their military duties, they quickly find themselves removed from their team, no longer serving the purpose for which they trained.
I came back from Afghanistan in 2013, and it was kind of a trial and error of finding out, after the military, what's next in life.
Motorsports offers an opportunity to regain that sense of identity within a safe, fast-paced team environment, providing a renewed sense of purpose. Like in the military, in motorsports, the goal is in accomplishing the mission, winning as a team, collectively celebrating the successes and supporting teammates through the losses. Operation Motorsport also offers virtual engagements and recovery opportunities through an iRacing league, engaging beneficiaries in a safe, competitive environment from the comfort and safety of their home. Operation Motorsport believes in the power of team, identity, and purpose.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Podium Esports coverage of the second round of the fourth season of Operation E Motorsports iRacing League, powered by RECARO. Live from iRacing's virtual circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in Stavelot, Belgium, I'm Rachel Wyford, joined by my colleague Taylor Burris in the booth tonight, and our producer, of course, Ryan Bauer. Ryan is using cameras created by the great Dougie Beard. Don't forget you can catch us on iRacing.com/live, the Operation Motorsports YouTube channel, the Operation Motorsports and Podium Facebook pages, and twitch.tv/Op Motorsports. Now, we've got a busy race tonight. We have some fantastic running here at Spa-Francorchamps. Let's take a look at that track, shall we? Of course, we mentioned located in Stavelot, Belgium. This track is a storied one. It started hosting Grand Prix racing in 1925 on a very different track that ran along the Belgian country roads. The track we have today is a monster of the Formula 1 and endurance racing calendars. It runs the 24, it runs Formula 1, the TCR Spa 500, and the Uniroyal Fun Cup 25 Hours of Spa, which is one of the longest motor races in the world. This redesign, of course, was done mostly in 1979, and it was shortened from the 14-kilometer public track down to the current one we have now, which is 6.9 kilometers in length. Now, this is a challenging racetrack for any car. This place will really test you to your limits and has some of the most iconic corners in motorsports, from the likes of the Radiant Eau Rouge complex, Legume, we have Pouillon, we have the Campus Stavelot corner complex, and we also have Blanchemont and the bus stop chicane at the end, including La Source, which is our big first corner, which will always be a tricky one for us. You can see it there on the cameras. That big first corner is a short, sharp dive into a nearly 180-degree corner for these drivers. A bit 170 degrees if we're being specific here. But then they have to climb up the massive, massive elevator that is Radiant Rouge, up onto the Camel Straight for a huge run down to that next complex. And it is going to be a very, very busy one for them tonight. This track is punishing, as I previously mentioned. And don't forget, this, of course, being the Operation Motorsports Championship, we do have a couple of different things to cover. Now, the different classes you'll see in tonight's race are important. We have, of course, the Pro Class drivers in the blue, driving the LMP2 cars. They are competition license holders, both past and present, in things like IMSA, SRO, CTC, and other bodies. We have iRacing Class A road license holders with a safety rating above 3.99 or an I rating of 1900. Then we have the Open Class in red. They are in the GT3 cars. Now, they have to have at least a D rating in iRacing, and they are serving military members or veterans not enrolled in Operation Motorsport programs, staff, volunteers, or supporters of Operation Motorsport. And then we have, of course, the people we're all here for, the beneficiaries in green, also in GT3, and their participation is, of course, very generously supported by RECARO and the USO. Now, they are enrolled in Operation Motorsports program, which of course is always to excite, engage, and empower disabled and wounded veterans. Now, they will both be in two sets of G3 cars, but are not racing together, of course. The class we're really focused on there is the beneficiaries of this wonderful, wonderful enterprise. And speaking of which, we have our, more importantly, unofficial championships, of course. We did have the Army's Matt Smotherman winning the first round at Canadian Time Motorsport Park. But overall, our point standing so far for Season 4 has the Army in the lead at 4 points. Navy on 1 big fat life ring 0. Air Force on 2, probably a 2-star motel. Marines currently on 0, unfortunately, which is quite disconcerting, because the Army got 2 podium spots last week. Marines normally get some seriously good points. Space Force, we're on minus 40, but between the last 2 races, I heard information that they're now down to minus 67. Due to unforeseen comet activity. The Coast Guard, we're not sure where they are. They're probably off doing something important like saving lives rather than racing. Who knows? Either way, I think we have Taylor Burris with us now. Taylor, I think we've got something coming up with something rather special.
We certainly do. We actually have, of course, one of the founding members of Operation Motorsports, Diesel Lauder, joining us as we get him ready to talk to. As we have Diesel Lauder joining us. Diesel, first and foremost, welcome up here to the booth. We're seeing qualifying happening right now, as we know. First and foremost, Operation Motorsports, tell us about the history of this amazing organization.
We might be having some technical difficulties with Diesel right now. Diesel, do we have you? We don't have Diesel, Taylor. We'll have to catch up with him in a bit, but we are running down time, of course, here at the moment, and the race is still just in its final moments here. Qualifying numbers are going in, so we'll see what these drivers can pull off as we get through to that portion of things. But on screen there, you can see cycling through some of the drivers. That's Matt Smotherman, last week's winner, or last race's winner, I should say. We had a week off for the holidays, and then we had a fun race the previous week just to get people some time over the holidays to settle down. But that's the leader you're seeing on your screens. He is currently ahead of things, as the Army should be, at the forefront of things. But, you know, no bias here in the booth, of course, as these guys get themselves ready for a big one. 2 minutes 40 on the clock left in qualifying. Well, 3 drivers left to qualify. Trevor Hill from the Open Class, Chris Ramirez of Beneficiary, and Chris Walsh of the Pro Class left to put times down there. Look at Chris Walsh there. We'll see what he can put on. Big run down Kemmel in towards Lacombe. Say right, left, right here. Very difficult section actually, especially in traffic. It's real simple to just drive this circuit. That is the easy part, I think. But the real difficulty is Spa comes not just from setting a fast time here, because you can off track so easily and lose that lap time. As just saw Travis Hill pile into a barrier off your screen there in qualifying, trying to set a time. But this track will bite you on your own butt. It will be even harder when you're trying to race somebody, because there are limited opportunities, those being into Lacombe, not usually through it though. We have opportunities at Blanchimont towards the end and La Source. Otherwise, you are really risking it for a biscuit. It's a tough track, but these guys will try and do the best they can. And of course, the prototypes will have a little bit of an easier time getting past traffic. And lapping should be less common than at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where you have a shorter lap time, more slow lap. Here, it is very high speed, and it's a long track. We mentioned earlier 6.9 kilometers, meaning these guys are going to have a lot of track to cover before they come upon each other. Taylor, do we have any news on Diesel?
Working on it right now as we try to get apparently some technical difficulties happening with Discord as we try to get things set up.
Just going to actually quickly switch the cameras here and see if we can get a picture of some of the USO cars running. We have two of the North Carolina USO sim rigs in use tonight, and they're rocking USO themed liveries. Of course, the USO actually have some iRacing sim rigs in their locations, and they actually have the opportunity for guys to come in and race on those rigs in the open category. So you'll be able to see those on the track. You'll see those USO livery cars. Those are insert driver here, USO machines being driven by some anonymous service person somewhere. We don't know who.
Actually, we do.
They're having a good time.
We actually do know who's
Oh, we
actually
do?
driving. Yes, we actually got it from the USO recently. It's actually going to be two brothers. It's going to be, of course, Brandon Knight and Cameron Knight, who are racing into those two USO cars.
Oh, fantastic. So we know now exactly who that is. That's wonderful. I thought it was just random people hopping in each week to have a go. Oh, good to actually find that out, though, actually. It's rather useful, but... Okay, time is running to an end here, and we're going to be getting ready for our grid, so we'll be able to show you that in just a second's time. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to get another lap time in here. In fact, no, I don't think any lap times are still currently open apart from these last ones. We'll let the time run down there. Clock is just dropping down, and we'll be able to show you that in a couple of moments' time. Now, of course, check out the social media platforms for Podium and for Operation Motorsport. You'll see a lot of tweets going out during the race from Cameron Obernon on our team, dropping all the juicy information from tonight's race, as always throughout the season, for you to catch up there on your social platforms. Now, we're going to have a look at what these guys will do as the race goes on, but what are your expectations here, Taylor? What are we looking at from these guys, especially the open class drivers? The beneficiary class drivers.
For the beneficiary class drivers, it's going to be a little interesting about how they're going to be able to survive this race, because this track provides a wide variety of opportunities for them to survive this type of racetrack and making sure and working together, as well as also just running a consistent laps for the next 30 minutes.
Absolutely are. Consistency will be king here at Spa-Francorchamps, as it always is, and that bus stop looks inviting for a pass, but how many cars have I seen flipped over there? Normally, back in the day when we used to have the Honda ARX 01 prototype, the open top one, also known as the, Honda Performance Development is the name, but they usually were nicknamed the High Performance Dozer, because they usually found their way under any other poor, unfortunate GT car in a race with them, and did some, Robot Wars stuff, or whatever the Americans called that. BattleBots, was it? The Americans called that?
I believe that is correct, BattleBots.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just get into there like a flipper car, go whoop, off they go. But seen more than my share of that in my time. But I've also seen cars from the same class tip each other over in the bus stop, so be careful there as we're dropping down to our last minute here. And I'm looking forward to this. We have, I believe, 4, 8, 9 prototype cars lined up for our pro class here tonight, which is going to be real exciting to see what they can do, as they are very, very rapid around here. This is a very downforce-centric track, and this place will race differently whether you are in a GT car, relying a lot on tire grip and the aero the car provides, compared to the actual major aerodynamic downforce you'll get from these prototypes. It'll be a big thing for them. But interestingly, they are in the backstretch pits, but I believe we're starting on the Formula 1 grid. Yes, they're wrapping round. Okay, that would make sense. So we'll have to see how they put this one together. Let's go to your starting grid, as mentioned previously. Starting on the front row is Chris Walsh from the prototype class, alongside Dave Hines there, with Tyler Guillemette in third place, Martin Wallace in fourth, Jason Stanley in fifth, with sixth place being Rodney Campbell, Daniel Curio in seventh, and eighth is Travis Hill. Your open class will be beneficiaries will be Matt Smotherman with Connor Price in the second place for them. Third will be Adam Poppenhouse, with first of your open class drivers, Taylor Parsons. Behind them, it's Hunter Reeve in 13th overall. John May, 14th overall. We'll look to see what the Angry Marine can do. Bradley Beeman in 15th in the open class, with Jake Steinbrink, also the open class, at 16th. Brock Hogan from Beneficiaries in 17th. Russell Elizondo in 18th place. Tyler Reed in the open class, 19th. John Winker, Beneficiaries in 20th. 21st, Mark Bray from Open. We have our USO number 2 machine there in 22nd. Tyler Beeman, 23rd. 24th, the first USO machine. Brian Winker in the open class, 25th. And Jay Gleason in 26th, with also Dan Friedrich and Trevor Hill in 27th, 28th, with Chris Ramirez in 29th. If he's racing, we don't know. Chris, are you racing? Don't think he is. He always does this. For some reason, he always logs in as a driver. He's a bit special, is our Chris Ramirez. He does his best, though. He works very tirelessly for the series, so big props to Chris. Because somebody puts into the effort for this stuff, he really makes an impact on what these guys can experience. But we are getting ready behind the iRacing pace car here to get going tonight for a very exciting 30-minute race here at Spa-Francorchamps. And the only response he has is a troll emoji. Yep, expected that. Moving on, as we get ready to roll here, this should be a fairly short lap for us now. This should be about Blanchimont. You're seeing from the camera point there, that orange curb, or yellow? I'm having a brain explosion. That aquamarine blue curbing you'll see on the outside of your screen there is Blanchimont's run-out area. You'll see a lot of cars across that. In fact, it'll end up with a lot of black marks on it as we go on tonight, so pay attention to that. It's one of the few places in iRacing where you'll see so much of the outer part of the track be an actual corner cut, because you will get a massive slowdown for going wide on this corner, unlike many others where it's mostly the apex where you get the corner cuts. You can definitely gain huge amounts of time of running very wide here. Spa-Francorchamps general rules: if you go outside the white stuff, you're getting slowed down. Pace car pulls off and we're getting ready to go here, but we have we had some technical difficulties. We'll try and get to Diesel another time. We haven't really got the opportunity to get him tonight, unfortunately. Technical difficulties plaguing us, as they are also plaguing R2 Derp2, my co-commentator. I was expecting him to make a comment there, but apparently not. I guess he wants to be C-3PO. Who knows? Speaking of which, anybody else watching The Mandalorian? I can't wait for tomorrow. Either way, I digress. Race cars on a track at Spa in Belgium. Coming to the bus stop now. Pace car will dive off to pit road entrance here, and we'll get ourselves ready to go. Field in the command of Walsh and Hines. Through the grid they'll come. Nope, the pace car's staying out. He really likes this track. Okay, they're pitting in, actually, I believe, towards the end. Is the pace car drunk? Oh, we're starting on the classic pits, the endurance pits. Okay, so that's why. Pace car will dive off pretty early here, I think. Diving into pit road. Yep, here it goes. Field at the command of Walsh and Hines. And off they go. Hines giving it full beans out of the start there towards Rouge Radion. Nearly 3 wide up the climb there. Big jump, and out front, Walsh there, Hines behind him, Clement and Wallace behind them. Some other men leading the charge for the Beneficiaries. First time we've really had this many Beneficiary drivers ahead of the open class drivers, Taylor. But the guys at the front are into Lecum now as the Beneficiaries approach rapidly behind them.
They certainly are, as they work in their way. As we have one car off, that's the 104 of Chris Walsh that is turned around. He's going to go all the way through these beautiful GT3 cars out there, work the way through, but unfortunately no damage to the nose of that Lara. He will continue on.
Sure will, as he's going to try and do what he can to get that car back in line. He said it'd be a while before anyone was lapping anybody. I didn't say it'd be a while before anybody had to pass GT cars at a prototype, because, yeah, this track does bite, as mentioned. Lead the field in the command of Mr. Beans. Dave Hines there, with Gunnett right behind him, along with, I believe, the car behind them of Wallace. We've got Stanley as well. We're on board right now. Looking towards the front there. Got a pass in second place for the Beneficiaries. Looking towards the back end there of Smothermon, the driver who he really wants to beat here and get a win in this second round. Can we get a different driver winning, or will this be a bit of a runaway this season? Looking through the back wing there of Smotherman, that 84 machine. Very much the target of this race, I think, for the rest of the field, Taylor.
I have to agree. I actually watched a little practice, and Connor Parisi definitely has a taste of battle with Max Motherman for this championship in the beneficiary class. Keep an eye and see what he can do as you're on board with Jason Stanley in that prototype class.
Certainly will, as they're going to try and do what they can for this. Stanley is in a good position to pounce here. Can do with the racing as it goes, but on board there. Looking forwards to the prototypes on board Stanley's machine. Under that total bridge now. Eau Rouge, of course, because there's actually a river running under the bottom of that lowest part of the corner there. It's red in colour because of iron in the local hills, so hence Eau Rouge, the Red River. And Radion is the actual corner at the top of the climb, not the whole climb. Fun Belgian facts. Walsh diving past a GT car that was a little bit slow there. I think that was one of the Lamborghinis. This top corner is actually pretty tough for the drivers. You'll find themselves often getting very loose as they come over that climb and crest over there. And we've seen so many crashes in both real and sim racing at the top of Radion there. Loving the splinter pattern camouflage design there on Heinz's machine. Always loved those sort of designs. Very reminiscent of the Red Bull test liveries of a number of years ago in the Formula One cars. I think others have done it as well recently to kind of disguise the development process to photographers, but it just looks fantastic, honestly.
It certainly does. Yeah, Tyler Guillemette is running up in front of the field right now as he was able to get the race lead away from Dave Hines as they work their way through the S's and then working their way towards the back half of the course. A great drive for Tyler as he works his way in that prototype class. But still keeping an eye on the open category as well as our beneficiary. There's Hunter Reeve, who we'll be talking about later on.
Yeah, Hunter's going to be one of our spotlights for today, but Hunter's also one of our race winners in the past. If I look back at my last season statistics, and actually, no, he's not. I thought he was. For some reason, the name Hunter Reeve has always been coming up on things. But actually, no, he was. Actually, I was right. I was looking at the different season. Yes, Hunter Reeve had 4 wins last season. He actually had more total wins than John May, our championship winner, because when he didn't win, he actually scored lower than John May. May taking the win there for himself and for the US Marine Corps. But Hunter Reeve actually scored 1 more race win, but it wasn't quite enough on the points tables. So this is where consistency will always factor in a motor race.
Certainly will. One trouble, though, we had for one of our USO drivers, that is, of course, the number 2 driver of Cameron Knight. He had an issue coming to the corners and is now all the way back to 29th right now. So a tough break for our USO drivers.
Yeah, tough break for him there. He'll have to try and come back with what he can. 3rd place in the beneficiaries, Adam Poppenhaus here, coming through La Source along that classic pit straight here at Spa-Francorchamps, which means if we're running this classic pit straight, this means that this La Source will be our final corner, not our first, which does throw a major wrench in the works in terms of how you run this lap, because for most drivers it's the first corner, and most laps, I should say, on the layouts, when the bus stop is the final. But now you have 1 extra chance to catch people on probably arguably the slowest corner on the track, Taylor, meaning we could have some really opportunistic dive bombs, which hopefully means the Air Force may have a chance.
Well, that will definitely be a wonderful opportunity for the Air Force as they try to work. La Source is one of those corners you also have to be so careful with because we've seen time and time again throughout history, chaos ensues at that corner as well as we watch the battle right here for one of our beneficiary classes between 2 wonderfully made GT3 cars, the Ferrari as well as the Lamborghini, as they work their way out of no name, having a great battle here, I believe. As we look at timing and scoring right now, I'm trying to pick up who that is. That is Adam Poppenhaus in that 3rd position, trying to hunt down the Lamborghini of Connor Parisi.
Yeah, Connor Parisi there doing a great job holding him off at the moment, and it's going to be the 2 for 2 as Smotherman is actually getting a bit of a gap going here. 2 seconds for him on the racetrack right now to Parisi and Poppenhaus, with Parsons behind them for leading the open class. Reeve in that 4th place close behind. He's about 4 seconds adrift of those guys, so very much still in this fight, but not quite there at the moment. We'll have to see what he can do later on. One thing we always have to factor is John May here in the 98 car is pushing his way forward. 6th place for him. Slow start to the season, Taylor, for John May. He's always had a great race. In fact, last season he was dominating. Now, seems a little quieter.
Could it be possibly the fact that he switched manufacturers? I mean, he was in the famous Mercedes. Now he's behind the wheel of the brand new BMW M4. Granted, these new cars are definitely one to keep an eye on when it comes to GT3 racing, but it seems like the Merc was his preferred choice that won him the championship from last season.
Now, of course, Mercedes is always superior just because Mercedes are better. That's just my personal opinion, looking at Heinz there in the Proto class, looking towards the leader, Guillemette, at the moment. Now, of course, I'll always back Mercedes. They're always the best. Mercedes are great. But there is always something to be said about the iRacing meta, Taylor, of the newest car to get added is typically OP in that season. For whatever reason, it's always the dominating car, meaning that if you don't drive it, you aren't going to win in various open races or official races or league races necessarily, unless you have that newest, greatest, latest car until it gets obviously nerfed at some point in the next build. But it doesn't seem as though the BMW is doing that this season.
Certainly is not right now, and especially in this racing series. It's currently being dominated by the Italian marques of Ferrari and Lamborghini. In fact, Ferrari in the GT3 class currently holds 4 out of the 5 cars in the top 5 right now overall in the GT3. The only Lamborghini, of course, is driven by Connor Creasy, who is in second place trying to hunt down Matt Smotherman.
Yeah, I've just heard from our producer, Ryan Bauer, that there are no Mercedes in this race, which is why every single driver out there is a loser. Apart from the ones who are involved with Operation Motorsport, because they're winners. Definitely winners. But Mercedes...
Good save.
Yeah, I had to kind of save that one, because I thought, hang on, everyone's meant to be really good here, so I had to be nice. But either way, it's getting on to lap... I think at the moment, we have just crossed over the line for lap 5, and we're looking at 21 minutes remaining. And he's also pointed out there are no McLarens either, but no one really minds that. It's kind of fine. Those MP-4-12s have had their day, I think, and it wasn't a particularly long one. Either way, Hunter Reeve back there, 4th place, looking forward. He's gained some track time here, so we can see what he can do with this, looking towards the back of Poppenhaus. He's pulled that gap in, so it'll be interesting to see what he can develop from this, but overall, what I'm seeing is a big gap behind our leader. Paris, Poppenhaus, and Reeve have closed up together, and they're, as you see here, right on top of each other now through the bus stop, but Smotherman is just jetting off into the distance. I don't know what he's got under the hood of that car, but it is going very well.
He certainly is doing amazing right now as he continues his lead and continues to stretch it over just a little bit over 4.9, now 5 seconds.
Yeah, big gap for him, which is very useful, of course, as a big shot there of the cars. Oh, camera goes right over you. Love that angle. Those Dougie Beard cameras are very, very nice. You've got some beautiful dynamic shots of the racetrack. Always loved seeing the world through those camera lenses. Guillemette leading by 1 second over Heinz right now ahead. Looking at our GT3, kind of 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th here. And it's basically all beneficiaries right now. Last season, we had at least 2 drivers, notably the likes of, I think it was Ramirez and I forget the other driver's name, the open class, who were really kicking butt.
Would it be Rodney Campbell?
Campbell, yes, it was Campbell, and
I'm trying to see if he's in tonight's race right now.
No, he's not. There were 2 open class drivers that dominated things, but now it seems to be the season of the beneficiaries, and they're really, really doing a good job. But yeah, it's really fast this season from the beneficiaries from what we've seen.
Trouble for the 12th car of Adam Poppenhaus. He goes around.
Tell us about it.
Adam Poppenhaus in that number 12 Ferrari. He's working his way through. Looks like coming just a little bit past out of No Name, heading through that wide sweeping corner of turns. So we look at the timing. He's coming through Puhan in turn number 10, just loops it around that corner, a little bit difficult to overcome if you do not be careful with your entrance. There he goes, drifting that Ferrari through Puhan, and was able to come to a stop, loses a bunch of positions, now drops to 9th overall in the GT3 class, putting him, I'd have to say, 7th in the beneficiary class.
Yeah, that's put him right down the order, which will be unfortunate, but it has shaken things around, as we'll see what these guys can put on time-wise now. The gap's opening up even more to Smotherman. that is getting even bigger as we've got a big congestion there. Oh, 620 diving out of the way. That's Parsons from the open class getting clear of these guys who are battling for these positions. May up to 4th now. That's a big one for him.
Very important.
A really strong spot.
It certainly does. Moves him up into the 4th position overall in the GT3 class, as well as the beneficiary class, as he is just slicing and dicing his way through. He's now trying to find his way around the 620 that is currently out on the track. That's Taylor Parsons, who now goes to the outside as they come out of the bus stop, and now he's able to continue on his way. And now he's also moved up another position, or trying to get ready to move around another position, as he's in a slipstream with the Lamborghini of the Bradley Beamon and Taylor Parsons.
Yeah, very much so. And we'll see what they can do in terms of their positioning here, because they're really tight spot here that could really benefit them, but it's going to be tricky to unravel as the race goes on. Steinbrink on board here. Looking forward towards Tyler Beamon, who's lapping through. Parsons directly ahead of him right there. Coming up to what is known as No Name Corner, but what I affectionately always called Cow Corner from the old days. Because if you look at that shed on the right-hand side as you approach that 90-degree left downhill, there's a little electrical box on the outside that's sitting right in the middle, meaning it looks like it's got a kind of a brown cow shape to the building. So I always called it Cow Corner. It has no real name, but I call it Cow Corner. And once you see the cow, you can't unsee it. But less about bovine navigation, more about race cars. Pack leaders for your race so far: Guillemette, Hines and Wallace podiuming in the Pro class. Smotherman, Parisi and Reeve in your beneficiaries, with Parsons, Steinbrink, and I believe also in your open class is going to be Reed coming up in 3rd place there for them.
Might be actually Bradley Beamon in the 92.
Might have swapped places, you're right. That actually could have in fact happened. It's going to be an interesting one to see how this is developing though, because we're seeing more single car moments, and usually Wallace pushing through cars here. We never really see much on-track confrontation in this Operation Motorsport series. The drivers are very respectful, so it's always an individual incident that normally takes people out, but Spa is being ruthless this race.
It certainly is, Rachel, and if you think about it, with Spa as well as with this class, there is 3 different classes and of course 2 different GT3 classes added out there racing, and it's great to see the field of drivers showing respect amongst each other, realizing that, for example, the battle with John May, Taylor Parsons, and Bradley Beamon, they're in 2 separate classes, so they try to respect each other and race respectfully amongst who they are actually going to race against. Of course, John May trying to go after Hunter Reeve, while Parsons and Beamon will battle amongst each other as they come out of Rouge and Radillion, heading down the Kimmel Straight, and as they try to work together to catch up to Hunter Reeve and Connor Parisi.
Absolutely are, and doing what they can on the racetrack here to make this thing move. But we're actually approaching that time in every single race here, the very important time in every single race, where I go looking through my script here for the Midway Race Report read, which I can't find, but welcome to the Midway Race Report for today's race with Operation Motorsport. And speaking of which, let's put a hand up for RECARO here. Whether it's on track or iRacing, RECARO Automotive is all about making the driving safer, more comfortable and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. RECARO Automotive puts people first every time. An ergonomic sitting position means a comfortable position with perfect seat contours and innovative features that support your body. RECARO Automotive makes driving fun. Be it on the road, on the racetrack, RECARO Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more information, visit their website at www.recaro-automotive.com. When I speak English, that is www.recaro-automotive.com. RECARO Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsports iRacing. So a rundown on your field here. Prototypes first, of course. Tyler Guillemette is out front right now over David Hines, with Martin Wallace in 3rd. Jason Stanley is in 4th. Rodney Campbell is in 5th place, with Daniel Curio in 6th, Chris Walsh in 7th, Travis Hill in the 8th spot. Taylor?
Moving on to the beneficiary class, in 9th overall is Matt Smotherman, followed by Connor Parisi in 2nd, 10th overall 13th or 11th position, third in the beneficiary class, is Hunter Reeve. 12th is going to be John May, fourth in the beneficiary class. And in the 13th position overall, leading in open class, is Taylor Parson, followed by Bradley Beamone in second in the open class. Third in the open class is Jake Steinbrink in 15th. Next up, of course, in 16th overall is Brock Hogan, followed by Adam Poppenhaus in 17th. Tyler Reed is in the 18th position, followed by John Winker in 19th. 20th is going to be rounding out by Tyler Beamone.
Certainly is. And after that, it is 21st place here. Brian Winker. Behind him is going to be, I believe, Knight we have there in the 14 machine, along with Mark Bray. Gleason. We have Friedrich. We have the other USO car. We have Elizondo. And we have Hill bringing up the rear of that field there. But something we wanted to really touch on tonight, an important one for us and Operation Motorsport, of course, is always the beneficiary spotlights. And tonight, it is Hunter Reeve, driver who's currently running up there in third in the beneficiary class. Hunter Reeve is currently married to his wife Tamara, who graciously tolerates his hobbies. They have two fur babies, one dog and one cat. Hunter joined the US Army in 2011, where he spent some time in Korea in 2015. Hunter left the military in 2017 after more than 6 years of dedicated service. Currently, he's back in school and working part-time. When not engaged in school, work, or all things motorsport, he also enjoys fishing, reading, and biking. Hunter's benefited from sim racing in many ways. Through Operation Motorsport, he's been welcomed into the community with similar backgrounds, with a means for engagement outside of real life. Due to some health issues he faced, his mental health took a toll. iRacing has given him a tool to help him intensely concentrate and forget about his situation. There's, of course, Hunter Reeve, who, of course, represents the US Army in the Operation Motorsport series here, and current points leader there for him. We've got some trouble, Taylor, for Dave Hines. What's happened?
Well, looks like lap traffic has come into play for Dave Hines, running in second. He lost the car as trying to negotiate through the lap traffic, hit the curb, and then it turns it right around in turn 15 and 16. He's going to have to try to get it back underway, but he has fallen all the way back to 7th in the class, 7th overall. A tough break for him so far here tonight, as he has to now rework his way up through the field.
That is massive, massive turmoil for him. But it does change things around now. It's Guillemette still 7.6 seconds ahead of Wallace in second and Stanley in third. Those two pretty close together. In fact, we're seeing a move here by Stanley on Wallace. Will he have the opportunity? There's going to be some blocking action from GT cars ahead, who just can't help the fact that they're there and not as fast as the prototypes. But it's going to be a bit of a congestion there through Lecum. Trying to find an opening and trying to open one, in fact, as they have no real chance to get through there just because the lines the GT cars have to take, but respectful passing here as they're going to wait yet another corner to do this. But it interrupts, of course, that battle between those GT cars on the track. They'll do it as best they can. You can see the cow. Promise it's a cow. Looks like a cow. I'm not crazy. Cars all over the track here on the dive down to Pouillon at the bottom of the hill. Big double apex left on board with Hunter Reeve there. Third place in your beneficiaries class. And that was a battle for podium positions, so it's going to happen, unfortunately, where GT cars will have to play well with others and the prototypes as well. It's just a fact of multi-class racing, one they're definitely doing pretty well here as he's back on top of him, even after that minor disruption. Reeve going after that second place here. He needs those extra points here. Can he mark this out as his season? I mean, he's got points on the board so far that are well, but Smotherman, Taylor, he's dominating this. He's now 11.2 seconds clear of everybody in the beneficiary class.
He certainly is. In fact, he just got lapped by your overall race leader, Guillemette, in that number 5 LMP2 Dallara, as we see our beneficiary class leader in the Ferrari holding strong in that number 84. He just comes across the line. Matt Smotherman definitely showcasing his talents, and he is here to compete for the championship in the beneficiary class with two beautiful P2 cars hot on his tail. It's the 666 of Martin Wallace and Ethan Stanley in the 26.
You think those prototypes are taking note from Smotherman?
It's safe to say that they are.
Oh, there you go. They'll take notes, then they'll go flying past him because the cars are just faster. But I digress. Definitely an evolving race here, Taylor. As we nearly went 3 wide for a second there on the Kenmore Straight. Thankfully, they did actually wait until they got to the straight first. Stanley goes for a look here. And this is, of course, a podium battle as well. So 2 sets of podium battles, super, super close, as they were just passing the leader there. This is 2nd and 3rd place of your pro class. Trying to find every opportunity they can here to get past each other. But it seems that both leaders have just checked out. Willamette and Smotherman both plus 10 seconds clear of the rest of the fields, which is just ridiculous. No one should be that fast. It's almost unfair. But hey, props to them. They're doing exactly what they need to do, and it looks like it's going to be a very Green Army season for Smotherman in the beneficiaries class. At least I hope it is. Not biased in the slightest, but we still have a lot going on, of course, as well, with Paris and Reeve battling back there. Lots still going on for them. Taylor, ooh, we had a bit of a... I think we've just been shown something here. Oh no, I think Taylor's blaming the Space Force for his connection tonight. Taylor, could you tell us about that?
Yeah, I actually had to go to Patrick Air Force Base, or now the Space Force Base, down in Merritt Island area, Florida. And I think after that, it seems like they decided to mess with my computer because I had to go and visit the base.
You know, they're changing everything else. They've turned themselves into Guardians, which is already sounding silly enough. But their uniforms now look like Star Trek. Their patches look ridiculous. Why haven't they just bitten the bullet and changed their bases to Starbase or something equally daft?
Give it time. Give it time.
Yeah, give it time. They'll do that. They'll probably do that. So because of the Space Force's interference with my co-commentator's connection tonight, they'll be docked a further 20 points from their season standing so far. So any Guardians who happen to be in the race, I apologize. I don't really, actually.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No.
John,
I say, can we deduct another 200 maybe for that? For just that?
Not yet.
Okay.
They'll get it eventually. John May, we're on board there in 5th place as he's looking forwards towards a black car, I believe, or it could be one of the cars from the open class. It is, in fact, open class material ahead of him. Looking back from Parsons there. 4th place, in fact, that was the 4th place open class driver. So May's actually quite far back. This BMW is really struggling for him. He's just not able to find the speed. Do you think it's probably something to do with the fact that blinkers are optional in BMWs?
I think it's possible that we might have to keep an eye on that as well and realize that that is the issue possibly at hand for him.
Yeah, sounds definitely plausible as we're looking back at Stanley and Wallace's battle again. The gap's open slightly, but it's not too far off at the moment. They're getting it done as best they can. Trying to find opportunities here. And we'll see if Stanley could actually find a way past here. I want to make some sort of cutting remark, some sort of pun based on Stanley knives, but I can't think of anything, so I don't know, come up with something in the chat. Why not? See what you can think of as a good remark. As Hunter Reeve here, 3rd place still. Hunter's time is looking pretty good so far. He's still about a second behind Paris there, but it's not going to be close enough just yet. He's just outside that 2nd mark, so not gaining a lot from the draft, unfortunately, as we'll have to see if he can pull that in the last 5 minutes of this race. I've just gotten reports that Stanley is also Army, so awesome. Yes, he needs to pass Wallace quickly. Come on, get on with it. No bias at all.
Just a little bit, I think. A little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's all in good sport, isn't it?
It is. It's all for fun. It's all for a good cause.
Exactly, a great cause, in fact. Operation Motorsport, a fantastic endeavour. There's something similar in the UK, actually, that works for our service members, and it is a fantastic outreach and a fantastic opportunity because it's one thing that I think people don't realise how different civilian and military life is, and when you take somebody out of that military life, it is such a massive change from, as we see side by side here, Stanley and Wallace. Oh, we're going to see an opportunity. Stanley on the outside. Will he hold his nerve? Can he beat the 666? The car of the beast. He's not going to be able to do it, though. He stays behind in 3rd place for now. There's a lot of curb there as they come down towards... not Blanchemont, that's the other end of the track. I'm having one of those brain moments I like to have pretty regularly. My brain is pretty special. That was Bruxelles. Sorry, Bruxelles. Yeah. You Americans probably call that a carousel corner. But it's called Bruxelles. And then there's a cow. Either way, towards the sharp end.
I'm still trying to find that cow.
It exists. It's on the right-hand side. I can't help the fact you can't see it. It's the shed, the brown shed. It looks like a cow. I'm not making this up. 3rd place, Hunter Reeve. Looking at the back now, still of Conor Paris. target lock here as he's trying to find his way past. At Lamborghini being obnoxiously wide in front of him. Even my social media person is literally saying right now, cow is invisible. It's not. Look, stay on board here. Look to the right there. The brown thing looks like a cow. See? Yes.
That looks like a shed.
Yes. It's not. It might be a shed, but it looks like a cow. This is important to me. Don't take my dreams.
I will not take your dreams away, Rachel.
And I'm being corrected, and I apologize. It's Parisi is Connor's last name. There's so many names. Just be glad this isn't the Scandinavian Championship I had to commentate a couple of times one season. Oh my god, that was horrible. No offense to them, they're lovely people, but you try pronouncing Icelandic, Swedish, Norwegian, and Danish names and try to get it right. It's interesting. John May, 5th place here. Looking up towards the back end there, I believe that is going to be
Taylor
Parsons ahead of him, who I believe is leading in the open class. So he's got some good speed here. It's just not good enough to catch up to those guys ahead of him in those podium spots, although he is a lot closer than last week, so John May on a resurgence perhaps. Stanley's still looking for an opening here, although if he had a Stanley knife, he could make his own opening. They're really good for that. I knew I'd find one eventually. Don't blame me. Taylor's disappointed in me.
No, I was just looking at the times, and Tyler Gilmette should be getting the white flag next time around when he comes up to the start-finish line out of La Source. So we should be seeing one lap to go for our race leaders here. Matt Smotherman just absolutely pulling away, set down another fast lap of the race. He has yet to beat his fastest time of a 2:18, but still absolutely just pacing the field. Now 12.5-second lead.
Yeah, 12.5 for him, and it's 14.5 for Glumet over Wallace. And those guys are absolutely flying on this racetrack here. Beautiful weather we've got today at Spa, of course. Hunter Reeve there on the back. Will he find the opportunity on Parisi to do something here? Can he get past that Lamborghini? It's going to be real tricky. I think he's been behind him so long. Has he been waiting? Has he been holding this position? Is he just trying to run the laps until the last moment? It's going to be really tough to see what he can do. Can he get those points? Because the win is not in his sights, but second place is, and it's a big difference in a championship.
Well, it's safe to say the good news is he won't be getting half points tonight after this is finished here too.
That's terrible, you're banned.
Let me go through my Bose headphones now.
Yes, I remember that comment was made earlier about the Bose headphones, yes. And we, unlike Mercedes, white flag being waved there, unlike Mercedes, we don't throw Bose headsets. Please sponsor us.
Oh my goodness.
You're getting the comedy version this week. It's a bit of a flip side because the Space Force stole Taylor's packets, so you got me instead, and I'm weird. But Guillemette leading the way right now. He is currently coming down through towards Bouillon to start on his final lap, I should say. So he's about halfway around the lap now. Smotherman coming up to go across the line will get the white flag this time by for him. So he is about half a lap behind your race leader. So we'll see a bit of two-step finish to this race. Look at more of our prototype cars coming through the field here. Final lap for your leader we mentioned earlier, of course. He had the white flag last time by. This is Guillemette in his very Lego car. Some sort of possibly autism charity related, I believe the jigsaws are. Yes, not Lego, jigsaws. So a great cause, of course, to have on board there as he's coming up towards Blanchimont for the final time. Passing by the GT cars. His time is a stonking 15.8 seconds over Stanley, who did get past Wallace in the end. He must have used that Stanley knife to make an opening. I'm sticking with that one. Either way, Guillemette coming up towards the bus stop for the final time now. He'll only have one more corner after this to go through. Stay wide of the GT car, don't make a mistake now. No need, as he has to slow down, checks up hard. But he'll be fine, in fact, as he comes across. He'll come under here. He's flashing his lights. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know which corner is the actual end. I don't. Who knows when these layouts change so much. Through La Source for the final time. And he'll come out towards the final stretch here. And he'll come under the arch to take the win at Spa-Francorchamps here for the prototype class. your second and third place coming across now. Stanley, and I believe it's going to be Chris Walsh actually in third. Martin Wallace had an issue, I believe. Promote him to third. We'll head back to Matt Smotherman and your beneficiaries class. He's coming now down towards the Stavolo sector. Back half of the racetrack here. Nearly over for him. Last lap here for your beneficiaries and the GT cars in general. Coming out now, big run towards Blanchemont. We'll just watch his car through there. It's a big high-speed corner, that big kink over the left. Running round, trying to avoid going too wide on that part of the track. 14.5 second lead for Smotherman tonight. A stomping performance here from the US Army driver. And towards the bus stop for the final time under that Bridgestone banner. I've seen this bus stop chicane flip cars on their own. Those curbs are monstrous. He'll come out now onto the back straight behind the pits. One final turn through La Source, and we'll have our winner here for the beneficiaries. And Parisi will still be holding second. We'll flip back to that in a moment's time as he comes across the line now. Matt Smotherman will win at Spa-Francorchamps for the beneficiaries class. Great run here as it's now the final sector now for Reeve and for... Oh, is he going to get it? Reeve and Parisi. It's still going to be Parisi, I believe, in second place. Just managing to hold that line. No way for Hunter Reeve to get through there, but they both put on a fantastic performance. Second and third will come across the line there. West Coast cars coming through now, including John May in the fourth spot there for him.
Taylor Parson taking over the open category win as he picks up the class win, finishing fourth overall.
Certainly has. A fantastic run through now for these guys. Last cars coming down towards the end as we've got some of the lower points coming in. A busy race here, but some dominating performances by Guillemette and Smotherman tonight. Taylor, really, really amazing drives.
Absolutely. Very amazing drive. Strong performances by all of the drivers racing here tonight. And it's always great to come to this beautiful circuit here at Spa where we saw wonderful performances. Of course, Matt Smotherman is going to be the one to watch all season long, I have to say, as we get ready to head back over to the United States for their first race in the USA.
Certainly are. We'll be going to a quick commercial, folks. We'll be right back with your post-race results and interviews, so do not go anywhere. Welcome back to Operation E Motorsport here at Spa-Francorchamps, the second round. brought to you by RECARO Automotive and by the USO. We're here for all your post-race results. Let's take it down the list. Taking the win in the prototype class was Tyler Guillemette, with Martin Wallace in second, Chris Walsh third place with fourth, Jason Stanley, Dave Hines in fifth, sixth place Daniel Curio, seventh Rodney Campbell, and eighth place Travis Hill. The Space Force finally gave Taylor back his packets, so he will take you to the beneficiaries.
And as we go to the beneficiary class, it's going to be Matt Smotherman, who will take home the checkered flag in the beneficiary class, finishing 9th overall, followed by Connor Parisi in 10th overall, second in the beneficiary class. Hunter Reeve will round out your podium finishers in the beneficiary class, coming home in 11th overall, with Taylor Parson, your winner in the open category, coming home in 12th. John May will come home 3rd, followed by Bradley Beamon in 14th. Adam Poppenhaus will come home 15th, followed by Tyler Reed in 16th. Jake Steinbrink will come home in the 17th position, followed by John Winker in 18th. Tyler Beamon will come home in the 19th position. Rounding out your top 20 is Brian Winker.
21st is Mark Bray from the open class, with 22nd being the USO number 1 machine. 23rd from the beneficiaries, Brock Hogan, with 24th, Jay Gleason of the open class, with USO number 2 in 25th. Russell Elizondo in the 26th spot from Open, with Dan Friedrich and Trevor Hill 27th and 28th, and Christopher Ramirez, who still hasn't learned how to drive a car, in the final spot, or log into a session either. But with no further ado, we're going to bring you our post-race interviews with the beneficiary class drivers. Matt Smotherman taking the win again tonight at Spa-Francorchamps. That was a commanding victory there by 15 seconds. Matt, how was it for you on track tonight?
It was great. I knew that the draft was a really important part of this one. So aside from that first lap, which I knew was going to be really crucial, it was less of a stress fest after that. But I just had to make sure that I kept Connor behind me for that first lap and try to break the draft and make sure that those guys end up fighting each other. But once that happened, it was nice.
Certainly seemed that way. The track seemed to be one of the ones you may favor based on how fast you were here.
Not usually, but yeah, it seemed to work out today. I was really happy with that. I don't want to take anything away from Connor, Adam, and Hunter, because they pretty much made it stressful up front to where I felt like I couldn't make a single mistake because I didn't want to underestimate their pace.
Oh, fantastic regardless. And anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank?
Randy Dunning, if he's watching, he's recovering from COVID right now. So if he's watching, then shout out to him.
We'll get well soon. Thank you for joining us, of course, and you pop another 3 points on the board for the Army in our overall standings, in the most important standings, of course. So,
of course,
both yourself and Hunter making Army's score double next highest so far. So keep on with the good fight. Thanks for joining us, Matt Smotherman, coming home.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Taylor is standing by now with Connor Parisi in second place for the U.S. Air Force.
Here with Connor Parisi. Connor, a strong performance in your Lamborghini. You were able to hold off a hard-charging Hunter Reeve. Explain to us the battle that you had with Hunter, as well as what caused you to maybe not catch up to the race winner, of course, Matt Smotherman.
Well, I couldn't catch him because I'm slow. I'm still figuring out these GT3 cars. The ABS is something I haven't really raced with before, so figuring out when and where that kicks in and how to not loop it all by myself. But it was a good battle with Hunter. It was fun, clean. I think a couple more laps, he would have got there.
Talk to our listeners here tonight, the difficulty of racing at such a historic track, such as Spa, with these GT3 cars.
It's pretty challenging because the track's so long. You only see the corners a handful of times in practice. So, I didn't get a whole lot of practice because of travel and whatnot the past couple of weeks, but some of these corners, it's 50-50 if I'm going to loop it. So just trying to, stay cautious and take it easy and make it to the finish.
Well, we leave here in beautiful Belgium to head back to the United States, to the sunshine state of Florida, Daytona. How are you feeling going at Daytona next week for the next round?
I think with the draft, maybe I could keep up with Matt, but probably not.
Well, Connor, before we let you go, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Yeah, everyone at Jim Beaver Esports. We got General Tire, Next Level Racing, Fistful of Bourbon, Vision Wheel, and thanks to you guys and the organizers for putting the show on.
Of course, that is Connor Parisi coming home in second place, as we now talk to our third place finisher, Hunter Reeve. He is with Rachel.
Yes, Hunter, third place tonight after a busy fight there with yourself and Connor towards the end of that. You seem to be coming back in the positions here. You coming back towards looking for a win at some point?
I really hope, but Matt's really, really fast, so I'm happy with podiums no matter where they're at.
Tell me about the fight with Connor tonight.
Yeah, it was fun. I just didn't think I ever really had a good opportunity to have a good pass, so I didn't want to force an issue. So he did a really good job defending. He was really fast, so it was a fun battle.
Certainly seemed to be that way. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to or thank?
Yeah, of course. Got to thank Operation Motorsports, RECARO, and iRacing, for supporting this. This is awesome. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And you pop another point on the board there for the Army, bringing the Army total to 8. The Navy is to a big fat life ring, 0. Air Force is somehow on 4, which I'm still struggling to comprehend. The Marines are on 0, which is very surprising.
That's normal.
Oh, the Marines are normally pretty high. They won last season.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know.
I mean, yeah. Maybe it's the Marines introducing silencers on all their weapons has made them really, really quiet on the racetrack. Who knew? Maybe. Space Force, of course, minus figures, lots of them. Who knows? Who cares? Either way, thanks for joining us tonight, Hunter, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Oh, folks, that is everything from us tonight. But before we go, we'd like to thank our sponsors. Of course, RECARO. Whether it's on the track or iRacing, RECARO Automotive is all about making the driver driving safer, more comfortable, and more controlled. A driving experience that you can really feel. RECARO Automotive puts people first, every time. An ergonomic sitting position means a comfortable position, and with perfect seat contours and innovative features that support your body, RECARO Automotive makes driving fun. Be it on the road or the racetrack, RECARO Automotive performance seats are more than just a set of components. They exude innovation, quality, premium materials, craftsmanship, and a genuine passion for cars. For more information, visit their website at www.recaro-automotive.com. RECARO Automotive is proud to support Operation eMotorsports iRacing. Of course, also, let's not forget Operation eMotorsports themselves. They're a veteran-led and operated not-for-profit company based in Brighton, Ontario and Raleigh, North Carolina. They serve Canadian and American service members and veterans, and it was founded on the basis of 3 simple words: excite, engage, and empower. The premise is to engage ill and injured service members and veterans affected by military service through motorsport activities to aid in their recovery and rehabilitation. To find out more information, please visit operationmotorsport.org. Thank you to series partners, of course, of Operation eMotorsports iRacing League, RECARO Automotive, iRacing, the USO, and Mobile One. For Jason Lee's Diesel Loader, Chris Ramirez, and the entire Operation Motorsport team, for Ryan Bauer, James Pike, Cisco Scaramuza, John Theodore at Podium Esport, and for our producer, Ryan Bauer, camera builder Dougie Beard, Cameron Oberon on social media, and for my colleague this evening, Taylor Burris. I am Rachel Whiteford. Thank you so much for watching tonight's broadcast of the Operation eMotorsports iRacing Winter League by RECARO. We hope to see you next Tuesday from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway. Good night.